Hello. Can everyone give me a thumbs up if they can hear me? Anyone hear me? Yes? Yay! Thank you. Okay, so I think it is time to start. I'm really big on making sure, yes, it's time we get on with it. I'm very, very grateful for people's showing up for themselves. So everyone, this is Raelene Byrne, Medicine for Your Spirit, and this whole journey tonight is all about building resilience, heart and soul resilience. So there's a couple of little things I want to chat about before we get into this. There's a little bit of protocol. I'm going to take us all through a journey to collect our energies together before I start chatting with everyone. It just makes a really beautiful, cohesive and coherent experience for us all. And the other thing is I will have time for questions towards the end, and there is a little chat box down the bottom of the screen. You can click on that when I ask for questions. You can type your questions in there and I will answer them the best I can. But, you know, it depends on our time. I haven't got someone here to help me do the question thing, so I'm going to ask you to do it that way tonight, just for the experience that we can all listen and be together and then have questions if anything comes up towards the end. So welcome, welcome, welcome. What I want us all to do to really bring us together in this space is to all of us just close our eyes for a moment and take a breath. Just take a really beautiful breath. We're here. Here we are. And just got to put something on here. So if everyone can just, I can see you all, just close your eyes. And we're just going to take a really beautiful breath, heart breath. Breathe in and just relax, let it go. And another breath, breathing in and just letting it go. Just be here with yourself, be present with yourself. Breathe to be here. And one more breath, just breathing in at heart space. Big breath and exhale. Be here. Now in this same space, keeping our eyes closed, taking a breath at your heart space. And with intention, as you breathe in, exhale down through the body, out through your feet into the earth. There's an energy center that sits beneath our feet called the Earth Star. Now all I want us to do again is just breathe in at your heart, take a big breath through your heart, and then exhale down through your body, down through your feet into the earth to your Earth Star. And once more, take a breath at heart, breathing in. Breathe it down through the body, into the Earth Star, and just from there, set an intention that we are going to connect through the energy lines, the ley lines of the planet, the song lines, beneath our body at our Earth Star. We're going to send our energy out to connect with all the other people on this call. And if you want to use a color, violet or purple or blue, again, take that breath at heart space, breathing in. Activate the color that you want, send it down through the body. Violet's really good. Out into the Earth Star, and from the Earth Star you send that energy, that violet color, out through the ley lines to connect with everybody else on this call at their Earth Star. It's just a simple little process to bring us all together, just to connect. And just take that breath one more time. Down through the body to the Earth Star and send it out from the Earth Star to connect with all the other people on the call. So we're all knitting our energies together. And now you can set an intention for yourself. My intention is in this beautiful card that I pulled out before the session tonight, and it's called Path of the Soul. Have a look at that. Beautiful. And the message is, this is a complete opening of the heart center. Your will and divine will emerging. The next step to operate fully from a place of love is to trust each and every step you are guided to take, even if you do not understand it in this moment. So it's a lot more to it, but that's the gist of this message, and this is what tonight's about. One of the things that's really happening quite profoundly, and I'm sure a lot of you are experiencing it, let's come back to my screen, is the shifts and changes that the planet's going through right now. Massive, and it's showing up in our life big time. So, you know, some of you may have heard me express this before, but we're having this really big shift from 3-dimension to 5th dimension, or as you can see with the image on the screen, it's like we are breaking out of the old. We are just having to shed whatever has been in the past. So not only is it energetically on the planet, it's happening to us as well. We are living on this earth. We are feeling this energy. So we are starting to shift out. The old ways of doing things are just not supporting us the way they did. And one of the biggest things we can see right now is what's going on in our government. Clearly it's not working, that system. So, or the way that people are running it. Anyway, so we are really in this time of opening up, cracking open. Things are really uncomfortable. We're trying to grasp onto ways that have worked for us before, and it's just not working, but we're not quite sure what's ahead. So there's this real tendency for a lot of us to want to hang on to what we know and really hold our breath, basically, to keep it going. But there's something in us that's going, I can't do it anymore. It's like that holding on, everything's crumbling. The tighter I hold on, it's crumbling. So we're stepping and looking forward into uncertainty. There's no form that we're stepping into. So we are now in a time of incredible, I like to call it free fall, from one way of being or one way of living into another way of being. And this free fall means we have to adapt to change. And this is where resilience comes in, really big resilience. And we're going to need a lot of it because there's a lot of big stuff that's going to happen in the next 12 to 18 months for the planet and for all of us. But what happens with this free fall, it really is like when you're jumping out of an aeroplane. And, well, some of you may have, you know, when you're sitting on the edge with someone behind you and you're going to jump out, that moment of terror and fear of, oh, what if this doesn't work? What if you know, something goes wrong? And then all of a sudden you're out and you're in free fall. And it's exhilarating, and you know somewhere deep within, I'm safe, I'm okay, the parachute will open. It will open and I'll land quite safely. But in that free fall, it's like we have to surrender and let go. And so resilience is really coming into this place now in all of us where we have to have trust in ourselves and connect to our heart. So tonight I'm going to talk a lot about our heart, the wisdom of our heart, connecting to it. And you're all going to get an email sent out tonight with a step-by-step coherence experience from the Heart Math people, which is fantastic. It really helps us in great times of change and stress and evolution. So right now we are walking between worlds, and we are trying to build this bridge from our heart, trying to connect back into our heart. So some of you may have heard me say this before, but for, you know, over 5,000 years, we have lived in a energetic process and belief structures where we disconnected from our heart, and we became very involved in our mind. And there's nothing wrong with that. Our mind is a very useful tool, but it limits us very, very considerably from what the wisdom is that we have at heart and soul level. So while we're going through this big shift where everything's starting to crack open, the only thing we can turn to is the wisdom of our heart. It's the knowing within. Now, I don't know if any of you saw this, but I did a little Facebook Live thing yesterday. It's on my page. And I have to explain this for you guys to get it, because this is where we're all stepping into. I ran a workshop. I've ran a lot of workshops a few years ago, and at one of them, at the end of one of them, these people came up at the end of it and they just said, you know, we love everything you're doing. We love the info and all that blah, blah, blah stuff. But we're seekers and we're looking for the new stuff. And I was like, well, what do you mean new? What do you mean new stuff? And their response was, everywhere we're going, every course we're doing, every workshop we're going to, every book we read is saying the same stuff, the same spiritual principles and the same universal laws. And I sort of looked at them and went, well, do you think that's really telling you something? Like, it's simple. There is certain basic things that we all go back to, you know, which is what everything is built from. But they just were very insistent that they wanted something new. And in that moment, this wisdom that I accessed when I'm working with people spoke through me. And basically what it said was, when you start putting into practice what you're learning, then it becomes your new. And so from that moment, I started to look at everything in life as new, N-E-W, and new as in K-N-E-W. And so when we start looking at developing resilience at heart and soul, we're actually tapping back into what we know. It's the new, the K-N-E-W, that we have brought forth. Now, this might be a little bit too esoteric for some of you, but I'm going to say it and keep it really simple. There is a really strong teaching and belief through spiritual worlds and ancient technologies and ancient wisdom that our soul writes its blueprint before it comes into this earthly realm. So our soul has the incredible knowledge and wisdom that we need for our life. It's already there within us. But what happens is we get disconnected from it. From the moment we're born, the amnesia button basically goes on. And so we spend our life absorbing the information, the beliefs, the patterns, the blueprints, the behaviors, the conditioning of our families, our friends, and our environment. And they become our reference point. They become the things that we believe are true. So we disconnect from that soul wisdom. And then we spend our life trying to fit in and learning to tell ourselves lies to function, to be a part of something, to be accepted, to be to stay afloat, to have, you know, belong to things. And we start living this way and we get to a point where it just doesn't feel right anymore. Or something happens. We could have a health issue. We could have a really critical emotional thing going on in our life. We could have a massive job problem, you know, may lose our job, pardon me. We could have some other trauma in our life where it makes us stop and we have to reassess. Now, right now, this is what's been happening for a while, but right now, we're all being forced to reassess our lives. And it's this shake-up. As you can see with this image, this is what's happening. We are cracking open. Our hearts are cracking open. The wisdom and knowledge that we have within, the KNEW that we've brought through with us, is trying to move us forward. So right now, this is where we're at. So let's get on with this so we can have a look at what's going on. So how do we manage change in our life? You know, we've got to learn new skills. We've got to cultivate resilience within ourselves. We have to take really good care of ourselves, you know, really good care. We have to be open. We have to connect to our inner world. And I've written cultivate resilience again because this is the only way we can go forward in life. Heart and soul resilience. Now, what is resilience? Well, it's a state of being. It's knowing that we have everything we need to know. So recently I was in America at an event with Greg Braden, and he said these beautiful words. He said, life will never give you anything that you're not already prepared for. So that in itself shows us that everything we've experienced in our life is giving us information and reference points for anything that can happen. So this is how we are living right now, in this, you know, connected to the brain but disconnected from the heart. And it doesn't take much. It's just a little plug-in. And this is what I'm going to show you how to do tonight and teach you. But it takes practice. It really takes practice for you to get this resilience thing. So we have to understand our heart. Now, our heart has its own brain. Now, science has found, thank God for technology, science has found that there are 40,000 neurites, they're called neurites, in our heart. They're very similar cells that are in our brain. There's 40,000 of them. So there's this proof that our heart has its own little brain. And this brain is very potent, and the energy it gives out is like 100 times stronger than what is going on in our brain. So these neurites, these cells, these sensory cells, are informing us all the time of what's going on in our environment through our feelings. Our feelings are the key with resilience, how we feel and how we can move forward with that. Our brain stores information. Our mind can sort out problems from the way it has been taught. But resilience and heart connection takes us beyond that. It helps us access other information that we have forgotten that we've brought through with us. So this is why the heart stuff is really important. Our heart was the first organ formed in a developing fetus around 6 weeks. Before the brain is formed, the heart is already there. The intelligence that is keeping that fetus, the fluids moving through the body, is already there. And everything from that, all the other organs come from that. And those 40,000 neurites that are in our heart that create that heart brain, those same neurites have been found in all the other organs in our body. Not to that same extent, but there is an intelligence in all the organs of our body. This is the beauty of technology. It's showing us how everything is connected, and we are not isolated. And what makes us up physically is not isolated from each other. Everything's moving and talking and giving information for us to filter through our feelings and our emotions to then live the life that we want to live in the external world. But we have to understand that language. We have to understand the way the energy moves. So our feelings and our energy affect everything in our world. Everything. And you're going to see some images of this really soon. So these are some of the little facty things that we know. Our heart has its own electromagnetic field. Our brain has its own electromagnetic field. And our planet has its own electromagnetic field. And it works like this, as you see in the image. It's a torus field. It's like this donut that's continually moving around us. Now, we have this energy field which is holding all our information, and it is responding and reacting to the world around us, which is then feeding information into our nervous system, and our nervous system is then working out what it means for us to prepare ourselves for whatever it is. But there's a whole lot of other stuff going on. This is very, very on the surface type of stuff. You know, I can go deeper with it later. So we wear our feelings, we wear our emotions. You know, you can walk into a room and you can feel that something doesn't feel right. You can be walking down a street and something goes, oh, not sure about this, and you'll, go another direction. And, there are times in life where we have to, that feeling, that energy field is, you're just sensitive to stuff. And it's important that you pay attention. It is an intelligence. It is a wisdom. And these are the things that help us understand and cultivate more resilience in ourselves, paying attention to all these sensory information things that come through our energy field and into our body, which lets us know at heart, brain, and gut. Now, there are 3 brains in our body, and the indigenous cultures around the world often talk about the 3 brains. The first brain is here in our head. Second brain is in our heart, and the third brain is in our gut. Now, we're seeing right now on the planet, what's the biggest new health thing going on is our gut health. Having the right biodome or bio, whatever it is, going on in there to have optimum health. So we have a look at these 3 brains. Our gut brain is all about instinct. It's natural survival. It is that, it's dangerous, that sort of energy. It's the biggest brain. The purest brain is our heart, because that has wisdom and it has connection, and it's almost like the home of our soul. So we have these 2 brains. And then our third brain, the one up here, that has been likened to a fishing line that gets all tangled. So, when you see people trying to unravel a fishing line, that's what our mind looks like. Everything gets tangled and knotted up and twisted, and it's really hard to unravel it. So a lot of the indigenous cultures say you listen to your heart and you take action through your gut. You know, what feels the right thing for you to take action with. So, you know, we've got to start seeing that we do have these three brains operating together. I believe we can use the three together. I don't believe we need to omit any of them. But the first one for resilience is your heart. That's the purest form of information and knowledge. The second most important one is your gut. What does it feel like? What's the instinct coming from this? And then the third one is, okay, I need to take action. And this is where the brain can come in. It helps us discern what action to take. So this is how it looks. Our three brains, the gut, the brain, the heart, and the brain. Well, you know, you can see it, how they're connected. So the gut right now, because we've all on the planet, so many people have gut issues, it's like we've lost our connection to instinct and we distrust ourselves. We're so disconnected. And rebuilding it is encouraging us to have better health and better truth with ourselves and to really start feeling. And this is the way we move ahead, is through feeling, understanding what's going on. So I'm just giving you the important facts and figures about our heart, why it's so important to connect. So our heart and our brain, two separate organs, but when they work together, they become one system that delivers harmony, and it delivers certainty, and it delivers peace, and it delivers the next thing that we need to do with open-heartedness. So, you know, there's a little verse I've written here, and I love this. The brain gives the heart sight, and the heart gives the brain vision. And this is how it works. The brain does the real technical stuff, but the heart does the visionary, the bigger picture stuff. So this is why this connection and this coherence thing I'm going to give you is so important for working with resilience. So here's the exercise, just very briefly, but I have written it out and I will be sending it to you in an email. And so just do this with me for a moment. Just close your eyes. Just close your eyes again. Because, you know, just close all your eyes and just breathe for a moment. When we close our eyes, what we do is we turn our gaze within. We actually go within. We stop being involved in the outer world, the distractions of the outer world. We go within. And you know, one of the things, keep your eyes closed, just breathe. One of the things that's really good to do in part of this building resilience each day, various times through the day, is just to do that. Put your hand on your heart, close your eyes and take a breath. It brings you back into your heart faster than trying to make yourself get there. It's that conscious connection of putting your hand on your heart and taking a breath. It brings your attention to that heart center. And what it does, it brings all your energies in together into one place and drops you into that center of stillness and silence. Even if it's just for 2 or 3 heartbeats, that can be enough. So with your eyes closed, just put your hand on your heart. Just get that sense of heart focus. And then just do some heart breathing, breathing in and out of the heart, that heart space. And if you don't understand that, imagine it, intend it, pretend even just that sense of your breathing in and out of the heart for a few breaths. And then I just want you to see, what is your heart feeling? What's going on? Get a sense with the heart feeling of calling to mind an event or a moment in your life where there was incredible gratitude or appreciation or something really uplifting. Bring to your heart feeling that sense of something that is open and expansive. Bring it into your mind's eye as you're breathing at your heart. It invokes and activates that feeling. So for some it could be the birth of a child. For others it could be the day they got married. For someone else it could be a day they broke through a fear and jumped out of a plane, for example. Something that is uplifting and appreciative, about appreciation and gratitude, and you have that feeling in your heart. You've just connected your brain and your heart. It's that simple. Now, if you want to go deeper, and you don't have to do this with me, but this is the next step. breathing in, you've got the connection. You ask your heart, the intelligence in your heart, the wisdom in your heart, a question about an issue or whatever's going on in your life right now. What does it need? What's the answer for this? What's the right thing? And then all you need to do is listen. And then you get an answer or a feeling or a sense of peace. You can open your eyes again. That's how simple this heart coherence thing is, which helps us build resilience. Now, this is something that I do regularly, a lot, and people who work with me or, have hung out with me, they see it often. My hand is on my heart a lot, even when I'm speaking in front of groups of people. I go back to here, it keeps pulling me back in. And there's been many times when things have come up in life and it's been quite disturbing energetically, things from other people, people being very abusive, whatever, about things. And, just walk away, close my eyes, connect in, take a breath, and go through this process. And you get the sense, the answer comes, it's okay, you'll be okay. Or you just need to walk away from this one, or just hold the space, or just give love, or just know that you're protected, know that you are strong. These are the types of very simple messages you get. It could even be, is this the right thing for me to do? And you tune in and yes, you get the yes answer. So this is getting this heart coherence thing down pat as a really great, simple go-to tool for a lot of decisions you need to make in life is really going to help you build resilience. And it really does help build this power within our heart. So opening up to heart wisdom, it allows us to have a spaciousness about us. And it's interesting, recently I was speaking with the shaman I work with in America when I take retreats to Sedona, and we talked about space and spaciousness, and he said when we sit in that space, we're actually sitting in love. Space is love. And I hadn't ever heard that before, but it really resonated because right now on the planet, what is the one thing most people are asking for? They need space. I need space to sort myself out. I need space to make a decision. I need space to do what I need to do. What everyone's looking for is this energy of love. They're looking for this, what's not happening in their life, what they're lacking to come in so they can sit in that space with themselves to know what the next step is, to complete what they're trying to complete. So we're looking at the that heart wisdom. So space and love are the things that we are all needing to bring into our awareness all the time. Connecting in is going to help you, and that builds resilience. So what is resilience? I just want to come down to the slide on resilience. I can come back to this after. So resilience is the ability to recover from unexpected change in life. It's being adaptable. So one of my greatest wisdom teachers on the planet is watching nature. I spend a lot of time watching, and I have over the years, the cycle of time and how nature has conducts itself in these cycles. And when you look at what happens across the planet, volcanoes, tsunamis, earthquakes, mudslides, devastating for humanity, but nature bounces back from it. There's a resilience. It's an intelligence. That's the best way I can describe it. It is an innate intelligence that no matter what happens, I know how to get through it. I can move with it. I'm not going to resist it. Resilience means we don't resist things. We look for a way through or a way around it or a way to adapt in ourselves to what's going on. Resistance stops us. It's like the old thing around fear, and people have heard me say this over years and years and years. When we start talking about fear, I'm fearful of losing my money. I'm fearful of a deal going wrong. I'm fearful of asking my boss for a raise. I'm fearful of speaking to my partner about, something that's not going well. We're not really fearful. Fearful, what fear does, and the psychology of fear and the understanding we've had over eons of time, fear is an instinct that paralyzes us. It brings us to a full stop and we can't move because we've got to be still to be safe. Fear freezes us on the spot. As I said, it paralyzes us. So what happens in most of our language in our current times is when we're talking about, I'm fearful of this, I'm fearful of that, what we're really saying, what we really need to be saying is, I'm in lack of confidence, lack of vision, lack of security, lack of clarity, lack of balance. It's often a lack. It's not really a fear. We're just lacking something. So if we can identify what the lack is, then you keep moving forward, because all you have to do is work on that lack. That's resilience. Fear brings up resistance, and resilience brings up movement. We have this ability to, it's not just about survival, it's about flourishing. We want to flourish. We want to thrive. We want to be open. Resilience allows that in us. Resistance stops us from doing that. So when we start looking at this, it's, as the little picture here says, do you bend or do you break? Bend, it's that movement, because you have to remember that everything that life gives to you, no matter how chaotic it seems, you already have the tools, you already have the skill set, you already have the experience, you already have the knowledge to work your way through it, or around it, or embrace it. Nothing is there to break us. What breaks us is our mindset. What breaks us is believing that we have no other way to get through things. Believing that fear makes us stop. Believing that we are helpless, we are hopeless, we can't get it right. All these old thoughts, that is what breaks us. And that is when we break, and then we have to rebuild. And sometimes the rebuilding is not quite as strong as what it could be. Learn to bend, learn to adapt, learn to look at things from a much bigger picture. Learn to look at life as not something that's out to get you. It's showing you where your strengths are. Even the weakness or the vulnerabilities that we have and experience sometimes are showing us a level of strength. One of the things that's really interesting around this is when people say, I'm scared of the dark, what they're really saying is they love the light. When people say they're scared of failure, what they're really saying is they love success. People say, they're fearful of being left alone. Then what they're saying is they love being included in things. If someone feels that they're fearful, or they don't like being controlled, what they're saying is they love freedom. And this is how resilience shifts us in a mindset. We start looking very clearly at how our brain is working, how our mindset is, how the thoughts that we've been running most of our life are speaking to us. And we start to shift it. This is limiting, and this will break me. I need resilience to get me to here. I need to shift my mindset. I need to shift my heart opening to this place. What is it I love? What is it I really want? What is it that's going to keep me moving and not stuck? This is what resilience teaches us. So how do we develop it? This is the fun part. We all know the rules and regulations and how we do things, but you know what? We need to be told all the time. So I did a little, as I said, a Facebook Live thing yesterday about KNEW. And it's really interesting because we all know this stuff. We know that we've got to take care of ourselves. We know that we have to be positive thinkers, try to be positive thinkers. We know that we have to change our mindset. We know that we have to set intentions. We know all this stuff. We know it. It's basic living. But what happens is we get so disconnected from what's right for ourselves, and we get so caught up in the busy day-to-day stuff and get this energy around, I've got all this stuff to do, that we forget the simple things in life. And look, I've been doing this, for want of a better word, spiritual journey for over 40 years. And when I first started, and for the first 20-something years, 25 years, I was running around all over the place doing courses and workshops and retreats and sitting with gurus and having initiations and leaving my body and astral travel and all sorts of crazy stuff, crazy. But fun, I must say fun. I mean, it's part of the remembering. And for a long time, things got very complicated. There was always the next level. There was always the next initiation. There was always the next new NEW information. And really, now I sit back and I realize that everything comes from something simple. Everything. Everything exists on the planet. There is nothing new on this earth. There is nothing new anywhere. I mean, NEW. Everything already exists. Everything we need is here. Everything we need to know on our soul journey is here within us. It's already here. Accessing it is all we need to do. But what I've found is things, as I said, is very, very simple. So this is where we start to develop resilience. We start to go back to the basics. We start to understand who we are, self-knowledge and self-awareness. Who am I? What am I here for? What is my strength? What is my vulnerability? What are the things I need to work on? What are the things that I can let go of? What are the things that fill me? These are the things we need to start looking at, self-knowledge and self-awareness. And it's a never-ending story. And, and I say this to people who work with me when they really step into this, is, once you start this journey, and you're all in it, I know, because Dickman's doing all that stuff with you guys, you can never ever plead ignorance, ever, ever. Once we start to open up to who we are, we can never plead ignorance ever again, because we know the answers lie within. So, developing resilience. Step 1, self-knowledge and self-awareness. What makes you tick? What are the things that fill you? What are the energies running your body? When do you feel depleted? What circumstances trigger you? What parts of nature do you find that you can be completely lost in? Where's your space? These are all the types of things we need to look at. So self-knowledge, we need to do some meditation, journaling, reflection work, maybe get work with a mentor who can reflect things back to you that you need to have awareness of in yourself. And look, in my world, I do a lot of energy healing and a lot of soul mentoring. And you know what? The biggest thing is, healing is in the awareness. That's all it is. There's a lot of, crazy, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. I mean, I've been part of it. A lot of crazy stuff going on out there, and it's, it's fun, and it suits people from where they are in their soul development. Some people want to go and have all the crazy things all over them, and drummed around them and sung and light language and all the rest of that stuff going. Some people love that because it does something for them. It's waking something up in them. But what it actually is doing is opening up self-awareness. Awareness is where healing happens. And you'll know what I'm talking about. If you could be with someone one day, you've got an issue, you have a problem, there's something going on, and someone will say something so simple, and something goes click. It's like, oh, now I know what to do. That's healing. In that moment, that is healing. Awareness is healing. And so any of us can initiate that in another person. Healing is something we're all doing and we're all receiving every single minute of the day. So working with yourself, self-knowledge. Now, I know some of you, have been talking, into the meditation. That's great. Meditation is a fantastic tool. It doesn't have to be hard work though. And that's the problem. There's sometimes, around meditation, there's a lot of rules and regulations with various types of meditation. I'm all for meditation that is that you can fit into your life. You don't have to create and get stressed over having time for it. So, one thing I talk to people about is the 21 breath meditation, because, people are time poor, not all the time, but at times in their life. And instead of giving up on a practice that you do that nourishes and nurtures you, you condense it down and make it into something that's applicable, that you can use if you're waiting for coffee, or you're picking your kids up from school, or you're waiting for someone at a meeting. 21 breaths, that's all it takes. And all you need to do is you pick a word that has some meaning for you. Calm, clarity, vision, energy, balance, service, something that you're wanting a little bit more of in your life. And you see that word in your mind's eye. See the word there. And then these are the words. You activate the energy of that word, or the frequency of that word. And you close your eyes, and it's like you breathe it in and you breathe it out. That's one breath. You do that 21 times. It shifts your whole nervous system. Everything in your nervous system drops down and calms down. You just reset yourself in 21 breaths. Now you can do that once a day. You can do that 10 times a day. But it's something to put in your day as a really beautiful mini meditation, because what it does, it gathers everything in and drops you back down into here. And you're centered. 21 breaths has been scientifically proven to balance and shift the energy in the nervous system. So these are some things you can do with, accessing self-knowledge and self-awareness to have or develop more more resilience. The next thing is acceptance. Acceptance. As I said before, too many of us are going into resistance. It's the first thing we do is, oh, I don't want that to happen. Oh, I don't like this. And sometimes it's just that, okay, this is how it is. This is resilience. Bending. This is just how it is right now. It doesn't mean it's going to be like this forever. It's just how it is right now. So in this moment, what is the best thing, the best response, the best way I can deal with this right now? What's the best thing? Heart coherence. Tap in. Okay, what is the best way for me to work with what's in front of me right now? And you'll get an answer. Sometimes if it's really big and it's like you can feel your energy boiling or coming up and you really want to do the big eruption, and that happens, we're all human, it's part of our nature to, have a bit of a crazy time. If you can feel it coming up, you need to change the environment. And this is a really simple way, a simple tool in life. You feel it coming up. It could be at work, at your desk, there's something going on. I can feel it coming up. Whatever it is you're doing, you stop. Walk away. Go away from it. Change your environment. Change the energy that you are sitting in. Because when you do that shift, when you physically shift your body, the brain has to function a little bit differently. And there's a tiny, tiny window where you can actually choose to not go down that repetitive thinking or that stress. And you can choose what you actually do want to think about, or you can choose a higher level way of looking at whatever the problem is. But you actually physically have to move your body. You have to physically go and do something different for a moment. Go outside, go and make yourself a cup of tea, go out and put your feet on the grass, go for a walk around the block, go and call a friend and have a chat, go and read something lighthearted. Just change the scenery. And this allows you to be in that space of, I'm putting this energy, my energy, I'm going to take care of, I'm going to create space around me so I don't react to what's going on in my normal way. I'm going to choose to respond to it differently. And, sometimes when you're having interactions with people, and it's like, and especially if you're a person who you're not a fast thinker, because sometimes people got answers like this, don't you love them? When you're saying something and they're straight back at you and it's like, oh, and then you're driving away and like, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that. Sometimes we're just so caught up in the energy of the moment we can't think. So if you know that that's the type of thing that happens to you and you're in a discussion or an interaction that's really important, then sometimes you just need to go, hang on a minute, I just need some time and space. I just need to feel into this to see what feels right for me. And I'll come back and I'll have this discussion with you shortly, but I just need to sort myself out right now. And that way you are in a place of acceptance. Yes, I agree, this is what's going on, but I'm going to come at it from a place of integrity and a place of certainty within myself, because I need to not do my coherence. I need to tune in. What is the right thing for me here? So this is all shifting. It's shifting from that old way of doing things into the new world or the new human or the new earth, the new way, whatever you want to call it, that we're stepping into. And we need resilience to get there, because I'll tell you what, none of us know what's ahead of us really. I can feel what's coming. And I thought we all had about another 6 months before it really hit its peak, and not hit its peak, before it really started anchoring. It's already started and it's coming quite big. So, being able to have ways to know that we're okay and to move with whatever it is, this is what we're all being asked to develop right now. And that's why this series that I'm doing is really important for me to get out to you guys, because you guys are in an industry or an environment that you are at the mercy of the external world in what you're doing. Whatever's going on with money markets, banks, councils, builders, everything sort of outside of your control. So being able to be strong in yourself and have this really great heart and soul resilience gives you a different way of navigating that whole story, no matter what comes up. Because somewhere in you, you've been prepared for this. It's that simple. So acceptance is the next step. The next one after that is be open to all things. Be open. You know, we all have our beliefs and the way we've been taught to see things. And this is another thing that I talk to people about when I do their soul overviews is from the moment we're born, we are taught how things are in life by our family. Their perceptions, their experiences, their highs, their lows, their expectations. We take that on believing that is who we are. And we go through life living in that same belief structure. And science has proven this. 85% of the things, the beliefs that we have running us our whole life, 85% of them are beliefs that we inherited or had installed in us between the age of birth and age 7. 85% of those beliefs we're still living out until we get to the point where we start questioning, this isn't what I really want, this doesn't feel right for me, I really don't like this, how can I shift it? We start looking at who we are, and then we start to remember and reclaim the KNEW within ourselves. So being open. So as I said, we're taught to see life a particular way, and we go through life seeing it that way until somebody comes along and says, well, what about this or what about that? So I liken it to this. This is the analogy. You're going off to work every day and you walk through the botanical gardens. Every day you walk the same path through the botanical gardens to get to work. And you see the same trees, you see the same plants. Sometimes they're flowering, sometimes they're not. And then one day someone is walking with you and they're pointing out other things that you haven't seen because you haven't been told to look for them. Someone else is pointing out things and it's just sort of going, oh God, I've never seen that. I wonder how long that's been there. It's been there the whole time you've been walking. So this is how being open, and how we be open to everything is to be present in this now and really see what's available, connecting in. And I know down on the list there's another thing about gratitude, but this is a really great presence that you can do with gratitude. I'm going to do it again. Hand on my heart, take a breath. As you exhale, what am I grateful for right now? And look around you. They're all around you, so many things to be grateful for. When you start doing that on a regular basis, not just at the end of the day writing out 5 things you're grateful for, I mean, that's great to do as well, but doing it through the day, as many times as you want through the day, once an hour, twice a day, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. Sometimes doing it every hour is what we need to get us through the day. But that, what am I grateful for right now? What that does, it does this whole, pulls all the energy in, aligns it and drops you into your heart. It puts you in this now, in this moment, and you can see what's going on in life. Gratitude is the key for abundance. And when I talk about abundance, it's not wealth and it's not dollars and numbers on paper. It's the abundance of self. It's a frequency. Gratitude becomes this state of being within us when we do that regularly. And when that regular gratitude experience is happening, our vibration and our energy field is lifted and elevated. And when that's lifted and elevated, what do? We attract things to us that match that. That's why it's such a great tool when you're trying to create a life that you want for yourself. It's an abundance key. The abundance of self brings to you all the things that resonate with that. If you don't have that in yourself, then no matter what you're doing in the world, it's never going to work. You've got to understand that. If you don't believe that you deserve it, then no matter what you do, it's not going to work. There's always going to be problems, issues, blockages, disasters. Work on gratitude. What am I grateful for right now? And I know some of you have heard me say this. I'm going to share it again because it cracks me up when it happens. I was in a really bad traffic jam a while ago, really bad. And, you know, you could feel everyone around me getting agitated and I could just feel the air was thick with this, irritation. And I thought, okay, I'm getting caught in this. So take a breath, hand on my heart. What am I grateful for right now? And opened my eyes and looked around. And the first thing that came to me was, I'm really grateful that I can sit in my car in a big traffic jam like this and not be worried about being bombed. What is that? But what that did, it opened up a whole other pathway of all the things in this amazing country we live in to be grateful for. And so for the rest of the time in the traffic jam, I was just high. I was all these new things coming through all the time. Grateful for this, grateful for that. I'm so lucky. Lifted me up. So my time became quite productive because my energy was high. So this is the type of thing that happens when you work with gratitude. And this helps us be open and present to all things. And when we're open and present, then we're ready for the new things. We're ready for new information, new experience, new interactions. We're just ready and open for these other things that can come to us that we've shut down to. So just remember, when you're going through life, if you're walking a particular way to work all the time, stop sometimes, look around. What is it I haven't seen? What is it that I haven't recognized or taken notice of before? That's it, opening up and expanding your view. So that's the third key. The next one is sense of faith in self, having that real faith in you. And this is about belief, believing in yourself, having that positive attitude. And, people say, it can't always be positive. Well, look at me. People can call me Pollyanna if they like. I don't care. But if I can always go to a positive thought or a positive feeling or a positive outlook, then my energy is going to match that. I don't want to be down in the dumps all the time. Yes, we have those days, but that comes under the heading of acceptance. Sometimes we're having a rough day. Sometimes we just need to stop, lie on the couch, have a packet of crisps, watch Netflix, and just do nothing. Sometimes we need that. It's a time to reset. It's a time to just pull yourself in, not think about anything, and just be without feeling guilty. This is the killer. When we start to do the guilt thing, we're done. So when we go into acceptance, what we're doing is we are exercising faith in ourselves. Beautiful faith. This is what I need right now. This is what I need. I'm not being lazy. I just can't be bothered today. And that's the truth. That's being truthful. There's nothing wrong with that. This whole world that we're living in has been so driven by achieve, do, hurry. And that's exactly what it feels like. Oh, God, can we just relax? And so if we don't choose to relax and we don't choose to take care of ourselves and we don't choose to make ourselves a priority, then we are going to have days that are not so great. But it's okay. So coming back to having faith in self, positive thoughts, really being clear about how you want to feel every day. And this is one of my big things that I really try and help people with, is understanding what they want, how they want to feel every day. And not from, I want to feel like a millionaire, not that type of thing. That's limited. That's really limited. But feeling secure, feeling abundant, feeling present, feeling expansive, feeling in flow, feeling connected, feeling supported. These are the types of things when you start to know that's how you want to feel every day. Then the next question is, what do I need to do to make it happen? And you start to live from that. So very quickly, I just want to go through, I'm sort of running out of time now and I want to get through so much stuff. No, I won't share that. I'll share that another time. So having faith in yourself. Having faith in yourself is big positive. The next one is the ability to cope. And this is that adaptability. And there's a whole list of stuff here. Make sure you're healthy. Take care of you. You are a priority in your life. If you haven't got your health and you're not taking care of yourself, nothing else is going to work. So you have to be in that space of non-negotiable things for yourself through the day, where you are taking care of yourself. Breaking things down, if you've got big things in front of you, break it down into small portions, just little things, because then you get the sense of achievement. And when you achieve something, then you celebrate. Instead of waiting for the big outcome at the end, because it's hard work and we get lost along the way, start to look at breaking those big things down into small things. And when that's done, celebrate. Give yourself some, whether it's a little reward or time out or, just something, pat on the back. You need to celebrate, because what you do when you have those moments of celebration is you create a new reference point. And when we have new reference points, we can keep growing. But if anything happens where we have a chaos or we have something go wrong and we fall back, we only go back to that last reference point and then you rebuild again. I'm really, really big on creating reference points in life, so we don't have to go back to the beginning all the time. We only go back a couple of steps, recalibrate, reset, and then off you go again. So when we celebrate little achievements, we are creating reference points, and that just keeps us moving. Delegate. If you've got a lot of stuff on, delegate. Ask for help. Ask for help. None of us are superhuman yet. I know we're working on it, but we need to delegate. And the other thing I'm really big on is exercise, movement. Get the body moving. Energy can get very stagnant in our body, and when it's stagnant and stuck, we can't think differently. We're stuck in this blur, and it gets like that. And that's what I said, some days lying on the couch eating crisp, watching Netflix, sometimes you have to do that because you just need to reset. You might need to sleep for a few hours. But taking movement, even when you're feeling, I'm too tired, I just can't do it, just leave your house. And I'm really big on this, and few of you have heard me say this. Set your watch or set your timer on your phone, 10 minutes. Put the alarm on, leave, walk away from your house for 10 minutes in any direction, it doesn't matter, and then turn around and walk back. That's enough to shift your energy. It moves your the oxygen. You get the oxygen moving through the body. The biochemistry in your body lifts. You get all the happy hormones there. You release the stagnation. You get clarity. And you just feel better. Your whole nervous system is charged in a positive way because you've done something. And that sense, after 20 minutes, I've just done something for myself, gets you moving again. So these are the types of things. It's finding ways to cope, and sometimes resting. That 20-minute power nap sometimes is awesome. You can actually feel better after a 20-minute power nap. 3-hour power nap is not going to, most people feel like, what day is it? But 20 minutes is the cream. It's amazing. And connect with other people, have some fun. But if you really need help, seek professional help, because sometimes there are people who just can't get out of their own way. They just can't. They can't hear it from people around them, and they may not be motivated enough to do things. So sometimes you need someone to hold you accountable, and you may need some professional help. So it doesn't mean that you're weak, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means that you need a bit of help to build more resilience in yourself to cope with life and what's happening and the challenges. I just talked before about gratitude, so I'm not going to go through that one again. What am I grateful for right now? Patience is the next one. Patience. This is a cracker. Now, I've done a lot of shamanic stuff in my life, and that's sort of my secret life. And one of the greatest teachings that my shamanic teacher gave to me was understanding what patience really is. So in our busy Western world, patience to us means that we're waiting for something. I'm waiting for a contract to be signed. I'm waiting for the bank to approve of my loan. I'm waiting for someone to come and, value the house, whatever it is that you're doing in your property. Right? You're waiting. You're always waiting. And impatience comes up because it's like we can't do anything because we're waiting. So the shamanic wisdom that I'm going to share with you is simply this. You're never ever waiting. You've just created time. You've just created time. So this is how it works. You've got a contract. You're waiting for, you're waiting for the bank to give you an approval for your loan, for example. Right, you might have to wait a couple of days. So you're not really waiting. You've got a couple of days. You've just created a couple of days of time to do other things because that's in process. That's going to happen. Whatever's going to happen is you can't do anything else about it. Sitting around waiting is not going to make it happen faster. You've got days. You've just created time. So if you start to look at whatever's going on in your life, I've got to wait for this, actually stop yourself. Take a breath. I've just created time. What is it that is really important for me to engage in right now that's productive? Or what is it I can do for myself in this time I've just created? You know, when you start seeing it that way, life takes on a bit of a different hue. And, you know, you can be standing in a long queue at the supermarket, and it's like, am I waiting, or I've just created time. So, you know, I might send that text, or I might flip through a magazine and just numb myself down for a bit. Might even do a 21 breath meditation. You've created time. So patience is not waiting. Patience is creating time. So that's another way of helping you with all of this. The next thing is understanding that every problem has a solution. It's just like every question has an answer, and it exists within us. If we don't know the answer to, or the solution to a problem or an issue that we're experiencing, we ask for help. We ask someone to give us some wisdom, give us some guidance. We might research. We put it out there. We open up. We ask for help. There's nothing wrong. And then we start to work out what the solution is. Heart coherence. What is the right thing for me right now? That's it. What is the right thing for me right now? So the other thing too that helps with solutions, and I've said it before, is being in nature. Sometimes just time out. You know, go for a walk in nature, go to the beach, lie on a rock like a lizard. It's my favourite thing. Have a swim, go surfing, skateboarding, biking, do something out of doors. And what that's doing, as I said earlier on, is it's shifting the way our brain works and opening us up and allowing other things to be delivered from our subconscious into our consciousness, from our heart wisdom into our brain. That's the solution, that's the answer. And you know what? Sometimes what really works well, this is a little magical thing because I'm a magical person, or I like to do magical things, I should say. I like to write out whatever it is. If I've got an issue or a problem it's taking up a lot of my mind and it's really hard sometimes to switch off from it, I get a piece of paper and I write a letter to Divine Destiny. You know, this is going to sound a bit cuckoo, but I'll tell you what, it works. So Divine Destiny, and I write about the issue. So this is what's going on. And so today I am completely handing over to you for the best outcome for all involved. And that's what I write. And I write a little bit about the issue, and then I'm handing it over completely for the best outcome for all involved. And then I fold the paper up and I light a candle and I stick it under the candle and I let it burn. You know, if it's overnight, I put it in a big container so it's not going to fall over. But I'll tell you what, when you start to do that, you are actually getting it out of you, physically getting it out by writing it. You're handing it over to a bigger force of wisdom that you are connected to. And I guarantee you'll have the best night's sleep when you do that, because it is, you have just given it away. And every time I do that, and this is where the magic happens, every time I do that, not only do I have the best sleep ever, but within 24 hours after that, whatever the issue or the problem is resolved for the best outcome for everybody. Now, this works, and I have handed it on to people who have done it. And recently, I had a client in Melbourne who had... she was going to Canada for a holiday, and her partner, she got her visa, but her partner didn't have his visa, and he'd had something happen in his past. And apparently Canada's pretty tough with misdemeanors and stuff if you've got a record. And she came to me and she said, you know, we're supposed to be going in 2 days and he hasn't got his visa. I gave her this thing. Here is the Divine Destiny process. Do this. And the next afternoon, within 24 hours, she sent me a text and she said, I did that process overnight, and first thing in the morning we had an email from the visa people saying that his visa was through and they were flying out the next day. So, you know, you can call it coincidence, you can call it synchronicity, I call it divine destiny. So these types of things, little things like this can help. It keeps us resilient. It keeps us in the flow and open. Okay, now I want to get to some questions if anyone's got them. The last one is strong relationships, having really good friends. So this comes from trusting your friends. Find a mentor, find someone who will help you really start looking at the things that you value in life, the things that you really want, how you can open and expand yourself, and have someone help you with that. So strong relationships, that builds resilience. And the last thing I want to say is you can do this. You can do it. It exists within you. It's there. So as I keep saying, you have to know that your whole life has been preparing you for any adversity, change, challenge, anything. You already have the skill set. Life only delivers to us what we are already prepared for. We just don't know we're prepared for it until it shows up. So I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. This is resilience. This is living your life the best way you can and knowing that whatever comes up, you know you can get through it. So having said all that, and I know we've just gone over 8 o'clock, I'm just going to put out the call and come back to my screen here. Come back to the call. Has anyone got any questions they want to type in? Oh, hang on, I've got something coming up through here. Okay. Oh, what did you write down again? Okay, divine destiny. Okay, so you write across the top of your piece of paper, divine destiny. And then underneath you write whatever the issue is. And then you actually write, I now hand this over for the best outcome for all concerned. That's all you have to do. And fold it up and stick it under a candle. Okay? So, does anyone have any questions? Or did you all get what you needed from that tonight? Yes? No? I can't hear anyone. Just thumbs up. Thumbs up. Awesome. I think I turned everyone's sound off. So I'm going to be doing these once a month, and I hope you can all join me again. I can't remember what next month is, but I know that the month I'm doing the intuition one, intention and intuition, I'm bringing on an amazing intuitive person. She has her own school, and she's going to come on and we're going to do it together. She's amazing, and she'll talk about the intuition stuff, because we both do that in our life, but also bring in the numerology and give you an understanding of that, because numbers are very important. They're a language. So these are all little things that can help you break everything down and make it easy. Oh, hang on a minute. Someone said something about burning the letter. No, don't burn it. Don't burn it. Write down the issue, then hand it over. No, don't burn it. You put it under the candle. Put the candle on top. Leave it under the candle and let it burn overnight, basically, or through the day if you don't want to leave it on overnight. Don't burn it. And then once the issue is resolved, then you can rip it up and get rid of it, okay? So, let me see. Okay, I haven't got any other messages. So, I think we might be done. Why the candle? Okay, the candle, well, the candle is about light, and it's also about fire. It brings the fire element in, and fire is about, as an element, it clears everything. Well, think about a fire. It burns everything away. It destroys things, and then it rebuilds. So when we work with a candle, we're first of all bringing light into the situation. We're working with the fire element of clearing everything out for new growth and new renewal, so to speak, in there. And also candles burn up negativity. So if you've got a lot of stuff going on in your house and you want to bring light to it and you want to burn up negativity, light candles. That's what they do. They emanate light out and they burn up negativity. I got candles going all the time. And that's one of my big things, is let's find ways to bring more light into our life. So that's why the candle, it just holds that beautiful energy it's an honouring. And the other thing too, when you light candles, this is a ritualistic thing, lighting candles is, it's a moment of presence, and it is a time to set intentions, and it's a connection. You're actually doing something that the ancients, the sacred people all over the world do when something is important to them. We light a candle. If someone's sick and they're passing over or they're in recovery, you light a candle. You are setting an intention. You are doing something that's devotional. So if you're wanting the best outcome of something in your life, you want to have the best devotional intention for that. And so candles help us connect to that. Okay? I will be lighting some candles. Awesome. Okay, everyone. It was beautiful seeing you all, and I'm glad I could hold this space and talk to you all. I'll send an email out about the next one. But in the next 24 hours, you'll get an email with the actual process of that heart coherence thing, because it's a great technique to pull into your life as often as you can for you to start understanding the language of your own soul and heart. Okay? So big love to everyone. Namaste. And if you have any questions, you can email me and I will respond. So blessings to everyone. Good night, and lots of sprinkles of love and joy to everyone. I'm going to clear off now. Good night.